Thumbnails are always a great idea until you actually stack the books and then you can't put them down. Hi guys, it's Leanne and I am here today to do another most anticipated from my shelf. You guys seem to really like the first one in this series, so I am going to continue on. If you didn't see the first one in this series, I'll link it below, but essentially the reason for it is that I'm not buying many books this year, and so I'm trying to read books only from my shelves, and I was a little bit sad seeing everybody with their new highly anticipated releases lists, and I was like, you know what, I'm highly anticipating several of the books that are on my shelves, so I'm going to show you them. And I'm sorry if you can hear me lisping unusually in this video. I have given myself a fat lip. Don't even ask. The first book that I am super excited to get to is actually an advanced reader copy that I got in about September last year, and it is The Terran by T.C. Boyle. This is a science fiction novel which takes its inspiration from a real life 1990s experiment, and essentially a group of people have been chosen through a program for their survival skills. They are going into a dome-like environment which rises, as the back says, like a spaceship from the Arizona desert, and they will be locked in for 2 years with no help. The whole idea of this is that these people are going to find out whether a utopian society can really exist. I don't think there would be this many pages if it was straightforward. The next book, which I am very highly anticipating, is the only reread in this stack, and it is Funshine by Robin McKinley. This does have vampires in it, but the reason that it is not in the urban fantasy genre is because these are not the type of vampires, and this is definitely not the type of book that you are used to reading. I'm going to tell you absolutely nothing about this book. Not names, not anything. All I'm going to say is our main protagonist, getting away from the bustle of her everyday life, is set upon by strangers, and when she wakes up she is in a shrouded room, she is chained to a wall, and there is someone else in the room with her, and you'll have to read it to find out what happens. The next book that I am very highly anticipating is one that I have already talked about ad nauseum on my channel, so I'm just going to show it to you very briefly. It is Hex by Thomas Ordy Hewitt. This is a horror about a small town which has harboured a secret for a very long time. They have a resident witch who has had her eyes and her mouth sewn shut. She appears at the ends of people's bed and watches you throughout the night, but they're very eager for some reason to keep this to themselves. You know, tourism is important for people's jobs. But as usual, them pesky kids, some teenagers decide that it's maybe time for this witch to go viral. And then it all turns to shit. The next book, which I am very highly anticipating and yet I'm absolutely crapping my pants terrified of, is Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. It's 866 pages long. It's the biggest big book. It's a big book. This is the first book in the bas-lag series. It follows a sprawling metropolis called New Crobazon. It's not a nice place to be. It's filled with factories. The river is polluted. There's gases everywhere. There's clouds of stuff and fog. And one of the little taglines on the back says, "For more than 1,000 years, the Parliament and its brutal militia have ruled over a vast economy of workers and artists, spies and soldiers, magicians, junkies and whores." And then a stranger arrives and completely by accident lets something out which shouldn't have been let out. The next book, which I cannot wait to get to, is the beautiful False Hearts by Laura Lamb. Look at those painted edges. And can we just look at her cute signature? She signed it Lala. This is also a science fiction novel about a futuristic society in which crime essentially does not exist. Or at least it's not supposed to. Our main protagonist Tyla turns up one night at home completely covered in blood with absolutely no idea how she's got there, and she is arrested for murder. She is the first person in her society to be arrested for murder in like over 100 years or something like that. But then her twin discovers that there's something more going on here and that there might actually be drugs on the loose in their society. And so she decides to take her sister's identity and try and bring this drugs ring down so that she can clear her sister's name. And finally, I cannot believe that I am actually having to put this book in this video because I haven't read it yet. I have Fellside by M.R. Carey. You guys know how much I loved The Girl with All the Gifts. It was on my top 10 of 2015, I think. It was one of my most loved books ever. And so when Fellside came out, I was like, am I buying that? Am I buying it right now? And I did, and then I didn't get to it. So this one is set inside a maximum security facility where Jess Molson finds herself. It's a remote, pretty dank place in the middle of the Yorkshire moors, and it's not really the kind of place that Jess Molson pictured herself living out the rest of her life. But it's a place where the walls whisper, and where the spectre of a little boy could perhaps help to change Jen's fate. So that's everything in my most anticipated stack for my horror and sci-fi books. I cannot wait to get to these. It might have to be a horror and sci-fi month in March, who knows? So I want to know, have you read any China Mieville? Does he terrify you? Do you have any awesome horror books to recommend? You know, ones that will have me clawing my skin off, because I'm in the market for some of those. Also, I'm sorry for the random Tuesday upload, guys. The Monday video that I had planned, I accidentally deleted footage off because, you know, I'm professional like that. Hashtag just getting by. Just getting by. So I will see you guys tomorrow again for another video. Bye!